What's going on? Well, this video is pretty much about my life here of recent days after that crash on I-70 and drunk driver taking out my tow vehicle. And I just wanted to break it down, what happened and what's happening with the insurance company and where I'm at, what I'm doing, and if I'm right or wrong. So, let me tell you a quick story. When I was a little boy, I knew this guy. His name was Russell Baker. And Russell Baker was what I would consider a good old boy. And this guy, he wasn't really very educated. He was an automobile mechanic, is what they called him back then. And basically, the man, he couldn't read, and I think he could barely write. But his thing was, when he asked you a question, he always asked you, am I right or am I wrong? So, today's video is, am I right or am I wrong? So, let me tell you about the wreck, okay? So, I left my house in the evening, and I was going down I-70. I made it 30 miles away from my house, and I was doing 62 miles an hour because I had the cruise control set at 62. And I'm driving along, and I check my rearview mirrors a lot when I take off, just to make sure that my tow vehicle, if it moves right or left a little too much, then I know I have a problem. So I'm a little paranoid about that. And so I'm going down the highway. I look in my right and left rearview mirrors, checking stuff out. And so I saw a car approaching at a high rate of speed. And I saw it in my left rearview mirror, and the thing was probably running 90 or 100 miles an hour. And I noticed that there was a car in the hammer lane, and it was kind of blocking the path of this high rate of speed vehicle. That's what we'll call it. And then they realized some dumbass is coming up on them at 90, 100 miles an hour. So they're like, forget it, I'm going to get over in the right lane and let this jerk pass. So they did, and the high rate of speed vehicle didn't realize the other vehicle was going to get over in the right lane. And then they tried to correct for it, so they started fishtailing real bad. And I'm like, oh, fuck, they're going to hit me. And so I took and braced myself. I was driving a 2013 Freightliner with super single tires on it. Everybody knows that those tires suck. They shouldn't even put them on trucks. But it was on this one. So I braced myself because I knew I was going to be hit. And the car came at me, and I braced myself. It hit me. And it hit in the back of the tractor, and it hit right in the left front wheel of my tow vehicle. And so the car went up underneath the tire of the truck and lifted my truck up, and then made it scoot down the highway at 60 something miles an hour sideways down the highway. And so I'm taking up the whole highway now, in the westbound lanes, trying to fight this son of a bitch and get it under control so I don't kill everybody. And I was heading straight for the opposite side of the road, the eastbound lanes, and there was a giant cable. And I was on the verge of hitting the grass, but yet I had everything still on pavement, luckily. And so I took the steering wheel, and I did a quarter turn on the steering wheel instead of, a half or 3/4 of a turn to correct it, to try to make it go straight. And I did that because I knew when that goofy bitch hit me, it tossed my tow vehicle to the right real hard, and I knew that car was coming back. It's going to whip back because it's going to do it. And so my car whipped back, luckily, with that quarter turn on the steering wheel. It straightened the truck up remarkably. And I ended up in the left lane, the hammer lane. I started out in the right, but I ended up in the left from fighting this thing. So I straightened it up, and I looked in my rearview mirror. My car's whipping like a snake tail, so I knew it broke loose, and the only thing that was holding it was safety chains. So then, the thing I do is I don't hit the brakes in the truck when I know I got a tow vehicle broke loose. It's only happened a couple of times, honestly, and I've been doing it since 2008. And, you know, another time I'll tell you about the story. It was some jerk at a truck stop pulled a pin out because I took too long in the bathroom. But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, so the cars broke loose. I coast over to the side of the road, and I coast so long that the truck came to a full stop. Then I set the air brake, and I was basically kind of on a hill, but yet the car kind of bumped the back of the truck because, I mean, the bitches broke loose. So I jump out. You know, I'm pumped now. I'm ready. I'm ready for war. Whatever comes to me, I'm ready. And I jump out of that truck, and the car's nowhere to be seen. I will go back there and look at my tow vehicle. It's destroyed. And now I'm really mad. So then I see headlights coming down the highway. And I thought, surely that's not that person. And I saw the headlights. They come up out of the ditch. Now they're coming towards me. And then the bitch is on 3 tires. One of her tires is gone. So I'm over there. I'm yelling. I'm telling her, stop, stop, stop. Because, you know, she's leaving the scene of the accident. Took off. And then, you know, I couldn't give chase because broken loose tow vehicle would take me too long to get it unhooked, because I was going to chase after her. I was going to get her. I mean, at all cost, I would have got that bitch. But tow vehicle, couldn't get her. So basically, I jumped back in the truck. I grabbed my cell phone. I called 911. Come to find out, I was the second caller. The car that she tried to pass originally called 911 and told them that, you know, left the scene of the accident, the whole story. And I got a description of the car because, you know, I'm a car guy. I could take a glance at a vehicle. I could tell you what it is. So about 15 minutes later, Highway Patrol grabbed her, and they supposedly, I'll get to that, supposedly got her for a DWI, drug possession, drug paraphernalia, and leaving the scene of an accident. It ended up being 3 charges. It sounds like I'm saying 4, but it ended up being three charges. So then, basically, I had to call AAA. I had to deal with my own thing on the side of the road. A sheriff comes up. He gets my information. I didn't even get the bitch's information. And because the Highway Patrol was dealing with her, he had to arrest her. And she was 15 minutes on down the road. And so I dealt with the sheriff. And then he got my information. I ended up getting the car towed. I took the tractor on home. It was fucked up. I had to fix all that stuff myself and pay for it myself. And so then the Highway Patrol said I'll be reimbursed for all the damage. And you know, when you damage a truck and you deliver a truck damage, it looks like you was the schmuck that did it. So I didn't even want to go through all that. It was minor damage. It was like a mud flap and a mud flap hanger. Ended up costing a couple $100. I had it fixed at a Love's truck stop. I had it fixed there so I could get the points. So anyway, long story short, a couple days after that, I get a hold of the insurance company, and they say, well, we'll have to charge you a $500 deductible, and your car is only worth a quarter of what you paid for it 3 years ago, and all this. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting screwed already. I mean, it's day 2, I'm getting screwed already. So then a few more days go by. I get a call from a lady from the county sheriff's department / prosecuting attorney's office. All right, so she gives me a call. And she's like, yeah, I'm so-and-so with victims, blah, 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 from this county over here, prosecuting attorney's office, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay. She's like, well, I'm calling you because we're going to try to help out because you're a victim, and we'll help out with your deductible. Well, my deductible is $500. And there's no mention of my tow equipment. You know, I don't buy cheap shit. I don't go and just like make some shit out of fucking scrap or something, you know. I put a little effort in my stuff, you know, a little pride in the stride. And so basically they're gonna give me $350 for my base plate install on that car, a Blue Ox tow bar. Everybody knows that Blue Ox tow bars are expensive, okay? Blue Ox tow bar. My drop down was bent. I put it in a video, a couple videos back, and basically I'm only going to get $350 for all that stuff. So my question to you is, am I right or am I wrong? I should have fell out of that truck injured and sued her. Even if I wasn't injured at all, I should have sued her just to recoup some of my loss. But I didn't. Okay? When I braced myself before that wreck, I dislocated my toe. Okay? My toe's been dislocated probably a dozen times, but I literally dislocated my toe, and it's basically, it feels like it's broke when that bitch is dislocated. My wife, she could take and relocate the toe, believe it or not. She just takes and just snaps that bitch right back into place, and it stays there, you know, for until the next time I dislocate the damn toe. So anyway, dislocated my toe, and I hurt my knee. But I didn't go to the doctor because, you know, I walked it off. I ain't no pussy that just runs to the doctor every single time they got an ache or a pain. And so basically, the insurance company is going to offer me a quarter of the value of the car. I'm getting screwed on the hitch. You could go over here to, Camping World, and get an estimate for all the stuff that I had damaged. It comes to $1,700. And I should be paid that $1,700 because that would make me whole, you know. That would, like, before the wreck, I was making money. After the wreck, no making money. But if they give me $1,700 for my toe stuff, I'm back making money. Okay, so now I'm screwed. So basically, man, we're going to have to take this lowball offer. And then the car was almost paid off after the lowball offer. It's going to take 80% of the money to pay off the remainder of the debt of the car. Then I'm left, honestly, with $2,000. Now, what the fuck am I going to do with $2,000? I'm going to have to, this is what I'm going to have to do with $2,000. I'm going to have to go to a lot, and I'm going to have to put that $2,000 down on a vehicle. And then, now I got a vehicle, okay? $2,000 down, and now I got a payment, $250 to $450 a month. And then I got to go out, and I got to get more insurance. You know, that's going to cost more because that's a more expensive vehicle. Then I got to get me a tow bar, base plate, and all that crap put back on the next vehicle. So how did I win? I didn't. Okay? So then I'm driving down the road. I'm Mr. Innocent. Drunk bitch slams into the car, does all this damage, costs me all this money, and then they're like, oh, well, you be all right with what we give you. No, that cost me tons of money. All right, so then I get a hold of the prosecuting attorney's office. And I asked her, I said, you know, when does this lady go to court and what was she charged for? I thought I knew what she was charged for, but I was double checking. And so they said, well, she was charged with drinking and driving and leaving the scene, and it was a misdemeanor. And I said, how can it be a misdemeanor? It's a felony. That's what the highway patrol said. It was a felony. And then they said, oh, well, we can't charge her with felony because she didn't do $1,000 worth of damage. I said, bullshit. I said, she totaled a car. I went down the list. I went through the story. And they said, oh, well, we didn't even know that. And I'm like, oh, my God. And so then I told the lady the whole story, the whole 9 yards. I went through it. All right, so then she said, well, I'm going to have to talk with the prosecuting attorney. So then hours later, she calls me back. She's like, well, we're going to go ahead and press the issue and charging her with a felony. I said, the bitch almost killed me. And the bitch almost took and knocked me out of control. I almost went across the other highway, and I would have head on a tractor trailer, and there was 2 cars. I would have took them all 3 out. I would have got all 3 of them like a champ. And hard telling how many deaths there would have been. But I got lucky. And, I do get lucky. I can't go to the store and get a lottery ticket and scratch it off and win money. But I use my luck in different ways. And that's how I used it that day. So, I guess the moral of the story is insurance is a joke. When you're dealing with highway patrols and sheriffs in an accident, do a follow-up. And if you ever have a wreck and you have something more than a beater with a heater, then you'll probably get screwed unless you fall out of the vehicle and act injured, or you call your buddy that has a baseball bat and he comes over and beats the living shit out of you. It gives you all kinds of injuries, and then you go to the hospital and make actual good money. So I'm not saying to make false insurance claims, but you see what happened to me. I'm getting screwed. So that was my rant for the day. And I feel like I was right, but the situation was wrong. Y'all have a good one. Stay safe, stay warm, keep that left door shut, and make some money.